Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am here to do my 32-week pregnancy update. I do these every 2 weeks, so it's like between my 30 to 32 week update. As of today, I'm actually 32 weeks, 4 days pregnant, so I'm doing it a little later than I normally do, but this is just when I've actually got time to sit down and film it. So yeah, so I'm 32 weeks, 4 days, so closer to 33 weeks pregnant, but I love to do these because I love looking back on them, and I know it may not be the most interesting thing to someone who's not pregnant, but I do appreciate you guys who do watch them, and I just love to be able to look back on them and to know what my symptoms were and what I've experienced during these past couple weeks. So baby is the size of a Florida pomelo. I'm not sure what that is. Let me show you. Do y'all know what that is? This is what it is. Don't know what that is, but also my other app says a head of lettuce, so there you go. You know what that looks like. And she is about 4 pounds and about 18 inches long. And that's so fun to think about because like it's almost to the point where like how long she is right now is going to be how long she is when she's born. About that, she may grow another inch or two, but yeah, to know she's already at least 4 pounds as well is just exciting because she's getting so big, and just to know that probably a couple more pounds, or I don't know, between 2 to 4 more pounds will probably be what she'll be when she's born. You'll have to excuse my voice. I've got like a little cold going on here, but getting into my symptoms, I've honestly overall felt really good, and I have not experienced a whole lot of sciatic pain. I have a little bit, like there's been a couple days where I've just like been walking and I was like, oh, my sciatic is starting to hurt, but it's not been like bad, and it like pretty much immediately go away. But I've not really been in that much pain. I'm sleeping really well at night still, other than getting up about 10 times to pee. I'm having Braxton Hicks daily, Braxton Hicks contractions, which is, I think that's a good sign. I mean, sign that your body's, I've actually had these for several weeks now, but I don't know if I've mentioned that. I feel like every time I do a pregnancy update, I go back and kind of think, what all do I talk about? And I'm like, oh, I forgot to mention that. There's several things that I know I forgot to mention, but I have Braxton Hicks contractions daily, and they're not painful. They're just that uncomfortable tightening in the belly. The one day this past week, it was actually a week ago, I did like briefly mention it in the vlog that day, but I was having like period-like cramps. I don't even know if I explained like how I was feeling, but I was having period-like cramps, which worried me at first, just because I know that could be a sign of preterm labor, but I wasn't having any back pain, which was a good sign. It was almost like it was coming and going, but I know with real contractions, I even talked to my doctor about this yesterday, how I was feeling last week, and he was like, just make sure you're, you know, he was like, do you remember what real contractions feel like? Because it has been 5 years. And I was like, yeah. And so it's like, you know, if it comes and then immediately goes away, but then it comes back, like he said, that's when you need to call us. That's when you're having real contractions. But I also know that the period-like cramps could also be a sign of preterm labor. So if I was having those for a while and they didn't go away and I was hurting, that I would call my doctor, just because of my history and just to make sure everything was good. But yeah, they didn't last super long, the cramps that I was having last week. And once I got home and was able to like lay down, I was actually feeling a lot better, and then they went away, and I hadn't really had them ever since. Last night I was in some pain, like when I'd get up to use the bathroom, like when I'd walk, I was in pain, but it wasn't contractions or anything. So yeah, no contractions, not real contractions so far, which is a good sign. I did have my doctor's appointment yesterday, and you guys know that I go weekly now, and so that went really well. He obviously listened to the heartbeat. That was good. He measured my belly. He said it was right on track, and he also went ahead and checked me because it's been a few weeks since, 2 or 3 weeks, 3 weeks since he's checked me last. I think it's been 3. He went ahead and checked me, and my cervix is perfect and it's not dilated. He said it's not really thinning out yet or anything like that, which is good because I always compare this pregnancy with Delaney's, And I mentioned before, I started dilating with her at 30 weeks. I remember being put in the hospital at 30 weeks because I was dilating, and so it's a good thing that I'm not dilating so far. So yeah, my blood pressure was also really good yesterday. It was perfect. And so I was telling Ethan yesterday, and I just was thinking, like, I know it's super early to even think like this, I'm sure, but like maybe like this could be a pregnancy where I can just go into labor on my own, start having contractions or my water break, and not have to be like actually induced for a problem. Last time I was induced for preeclampsia, and so I'm hoping that what we're doing now to prevent preeclampsia will work. And I think it'd be awesome if I was able to go into labor on my own, and I just have hope that I will. Although I know next week things could change, I'm just hoping that they don't. But so far my body is doing really, really well about no signs of preterm labor or my blood pressure. We started getting concerned that it was starting to creep up, but it's been, every time I check it at home too, it's never super high. It's always really good. So yeah, I'm just so grateful for that my blood pressure has continued to do well and it's not crept up so far. Last time it was about 32 weeks when it started, but I have hope that it's not going to do that this time. Baby girl is moving. She's not super active in the morning. You guys are probably gonna see me cough a ton. I'm probably gonna edit most of that out, but she's not super active in the morning, but at nighttime, in the evening time, that is when she's most active. At night, when I'm sleeping, when I'm trying to go to sleep, when I'm just laying down in the living room or editing or something, just in the evening and at nighttime, she is so active. And like, it's so cool to just watch my belly now. Like when she's moving, it's just like my belly just kind of goes crazy. But yeah, some mornings like I hardly feel movement at all. It was, Ethan and I were like in a meeting the other day, a couple of days ago, and I was sitting there and I got to thinking, like, I have not felt her move this morning. So I got to kind of like moving my belly around to try to make her move, and eventually I did feel like a tiny movement. But she's just not a super active baby in the morning time. It's just, she's very, very active at nighttime. I want to get into my app and let's see what she's doing this week. She's probably sucking on her thumb and is busy sprouting some hair on her head. I hope that she's born with some hair. I think that would be so fun. Delaney was born with a little bit, but not a whole lot. Also, I know if they say if you have really bad heartburn, the baby might come out with lots of hair, and I know that's different for different people. I have not had super bad heartburn this time. Some days are better than others. So if that's the case, I know my heartburn was worse with Delaney. So if that's the case, then she probably won't even have as much hair as Delaney, but I know that can't really be an indication of it. But yeah, some days are better than others with my heartburn. So maybe she'll come out with some hair though. Let me know if if the heartburn was an indication, or if your baby come out with a ton of hair, if you had a lot of heartburn, or if it was the opposite. She's also rotating into the birthing position as she moves her head closer to your pelvis. That's another symptom, y'all. Like, I've also mentioned this before, but I can feel, I'm assuming it's her head, like on my cervix, like pressure, and like I could feel it's like a kick to my cervix, but I'm sure it's probably, I'm hoping it's her head and she's in that position, but it is so uncomfortable sometimes. And I even mentioned that to my doctor. He's like, are you feeling pressure or anything? And I'm like, and I told him, no, I think it's just her head or whatever it is, kicking my cervix, hitting my cervix, and it's very uncomfortable. This says it's time to start thinking more about the delivery, including whether you want to use pain medication during labor, and I will get into that. She's practicing breathing and swimming like crazy. It's got that in quotations. She's also probably already in the head down position. I'm curious, if you don't have an ultrasound, maybe I should know this, but if you don't have an ultrasound to see if baby's in head down position, how will they know? Other than, will you just, are they able to feel, or will you just go into labor and they'll be able to tell then? I'm super curious about that, because I don't know what kind of position she's in. I feel like I feel her butt on one side when she's moving, but I don't know. Like, it's hard to tell what that could be to me. So I'm super curious about that. Like with Delaney, I remember having several ultrasounds with her. I haven't had an ultrasound since 20 weeks though, so, or 18 weeks. So I'm super curious about that. Although there's no guarantee, over 90% of babies born in the 32nd week of pregnancy survive. So that's a good thing, that if something were to happen, that she will most likely be okay. I have not had to take any nausea medicine for several weeks. I think 25 weeks is when I mostly stopped it, and I just kind of take it as needed. But I honestly I can't even tell you the last time I took it. This morning, like, I've had that gag reflex. I think it's also my cold that I have, but brushing my teeth, like, I kept gagging, and so I just had to stop. I was like, okay, my teeth are fine. I can't do this anymore this morning. And also a couple times when I've been coughing, I've like gagged. I think it also has to do with my cold as well. But I do notice I have to eat something pretty soon after waking up, or I will start feeling nauseous. But as long as I do that, I do not have to take any more nausea medicine, which that was contributing to my constipation. The Zofran that I was taking was contributing to the constipation that I was experiencing pretty much the whole pregnancy up until a certain point. And once I stopped taking that Zofran, I was totally fine as far as using the bathroom and things. So if you guys have that issue and are wondering why am I having so many constipation issues, if you're on nausea medicine, that is probably it. But I've also heard that your prenatal can do that. Once I stopped that Zofran, I was so much better. And so I've experienced a little bit of constipation issues. Y'all probably don't want to hear about my bathroom issues, but this is just my symptoms. Once I kind of stopped that, I was pretty much fine after that. It was the Zofran that was doing that to me, and I knew that because right after stopping it, I was totally fine. So, all right, I want to kind of get into my birth plan. I try to think of a different topic that I could talk about, whether you guys ask me questions or something. And I know I've briefly mentioned this because I got a question about it when I done my Q&A and one of my updates within the past 2 to 4 weeks. I can't remember if I done it last time or the time before. But about my birth plan, and to be honest, I don't really have a specific birth plan. Like some people go in with everything written out, how they want their birth to go. But I know that every birth can be different. You want it to go this way, and I think it's great to have a plan. I want to go natural. I want to have an epidural. I want so-and-so in the room. I want, just different things. I think it's great to have a plan, but I also know that anything can happen. You could be I could be put in the hospital tomorrow with preeclampsia, or something could happen and I would have to have an emergency C-section. You just never know. So I definitely want to keep that open mindset, and I think I definitely have. But I think as far as medication during birth, I feel like I will most likely get an epidural, unless I just go into labor and it's super quick and I think I can do this. I can do this without an epidural, because if it's a super quick birth, I feel like maybe I would at least try it. But then again, if it was anything like with Delaney, I knew with Delaney I was going to have an epidural, and I didn't want to feel all that pain, even though I still did feel a lot of it, especially when it was time to push. But then again, like I said, if I get to the point where I feel like I'm good and I don't need an epidural, then I don't feel like I'll get one just to get one. I think it'd be awesome to experience a natural birth, although I will have that open mindset of, if I need that epidural, I'm going to get it, because I have no shame in getting that. But I think it'd be awesome to experience a natural birth though. So let me know if you guys had a natural birth and what your experience was with it. I know most people that have had one said it was such an awesome experience and they're so glad they did it. But I'm just keeping that open mindset of, I'll get an epidural if I absolutely need it. But then again, if it's like a really fast birth, or I can tolerate the pain and it's not like super intense, which I know is probably not likely, I'm sure it will be, I will have that open mindset of maybe not getting one. I don't know. I think it just depends. Once I go into labor and once I get to that point, I will kind of evaluate things and think whether I want it or not. And as far as who I want in the room, it will be Ethan and I. We have talked about this. Me and Ethan will be in the room. I just think it'd be so special just for me and him, because this could very well be my last pregnancy, maybe. But also we will have a birth photographer in there to take pictures and do all that as far as as much as we can video too. So yeah, I'm so excited for the birth though. I just remember with Delaney just trying to soak up that whole experience. I just love the whole birth experience and everything that comes along with it. I think it's just such a special time, and I just cannot wait for that whole experience, to be able to experience that again. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the belly. I'm trying to think of where I want to do it. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the belly. Okay, excuse the surroundings. I'm just trying to let you guys see the belly as good as possible. We have a small room, so. All right, this right here is my 32-week belly. And it's definitely, I'm curious to see how big she'll be, because it's smaller than this point of my pregnancy. Let me take my shirt off. Or my cardigan. It's smaller than this part of my pregnancy with Delaney. And so, I'm just so curious to see whether they'll be about the same, whether she may be bigger, smaller, but this is my 32-week belly. All right, that will do it for my 32-week pregnancy update. Probably within the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna get everything ready for my hospital bag and go ahead and film that for y'all. I'm excited to show you guys that. But yeah, I think that will do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.